Hey everyone, so you all submitted great ideas for research projects this semester. So instead of me going through and narrowing down the list and choosing the groups, I'm actually going to let you all vote to make sure that you're in control of the class and you choose how you want things to look. So there's going to end up, I'm going to scoot my list over here of how I've kind of condensed this. There's going to be a total of 5 groups this semester. So what I want you to do is vote on your top 2 topics that you want. And then whichever one gets the most votes, whichever 5 get the most votes, that's going to be how we break it down. I'm asking you to vote for 2 because we're going to do first come first serve on the sign up. That way if the one you love gets taken, at least there was a backup that you also voted for. I wanted to explain this on a video because some of you submitted ideas that are similar enough that I'm able to collapse them in. So I combined some things, so I just wanted to talk through it with you so you know what you're signing up for. The first one would be the correlates of happiness that are specifically related to a person's budget and how much free time they have. Somebody had also specifically submitted the idea of looking at using free time to spend outside and how that correlates with happiness. And so I think that that would fit in with this really well. So money and free time with some specific questions about spending time outside. The next one would be combinations of questions about social media use and phone use and how that would correlate with sleep quality, anxiety type symptoms, depression type symptoms, things of that nature. So that would be option number 2. On that note, some of you submitted things that were specific to certain psychological disorders. It's not that I didn't like those, it's that the IRB is not going to let us do that. So like they're not going to let us ask people about if they're showing OCD symptoms. They're not going to let us ask people about eating disorders. It'd be a little bit triggering and a little bit invasive. So the IRB won't approve that. So that's why I didn't include any of those. So for those of you who submitted those types of ideas, please don't think that I didn't like it or didn't think it was a good idea. I know it's not going to get approved. So we're not going to go down that road. Okay, so I am rabbit trailing. It's been a long day and happy Labor Day. Okay, the third one is parental involvement in student performance. I think this is a really interesting idea, especially for college students, because we're in kind of that in-between phase of emerging adulthood. So having some parental accountability could still be a tool of, hey, didn't you say you had a math test coming up or a history midterm or whatever? But also with it being a community college, keeping in mind that there are adult students who perhaps their parents have already passed away, or their parents would have no idea that they're even doing this, or so it's a good idea. It would just be making sure, knowing that there would be several students that we'd probably have to exclude at the very beginning of, do you still communicate with your parents regularly about school, with those who answer no, that kind of being the end of their survey. So it's the third one. The next one is elements of a person's workplace. How healthy is their workplace and their job satisfaction or work performance? That's also really interesting. And especially since there are a lot of students at GCC who are just doing like the part-time college student type job, like working in fast food or working in retail, that could be a really interesting one. The next one is something about the relationship between music and studying, how it affects your study skills, things like that. Somebody did this a couple years ago and we got some really interesting findings, so this is a good one. The next one is some sort of combination of athletic involvement or exercise, physical activity, and how that relates to different things about mental health. Some of you had ideas for specific types of sports. I think someone specifically mentioned basketball, but there could be a lot of interesting comparisons to look at of asking people about exercise and physical activity, and then maybe breaking that down to, is any of this athletic involvement in terms of like a team sport or a group sport or a partnered sport, and seeing if maybe adding in that like social element and that camaraderie element has any sort of impact. That could be really interesting. I like that one a lot. The next one is the relationship between meditation and stress. Always good. There could maybe be a way to fold that into the first one about money and free time, correlating it with happiness. If we made that correlating with happiness and stress, and just like we were going to ask specifically some free time things about spending time outside, asking people if they used free time to engage in like meditation, journaling, mindfulness activities, there could be a way to fold that one into it. We'll see how the votes go, if there's enough independently for them to be two separate studies or not. The next one is academic motivation and perfectionism, and how that relates to procrastination. Procrastination studies with college students are always really interesting. The next one is sleep habits and academic performance. The biggest issue you're going to have here is people being honest in their self-report about their sleep habits. A lot of times we don't keep good track of how problematic our sleep is, especially if we're having a problem with it. So there would be perhaps a little bit of a response bias there, but would still be interesting to look at. And the last one that was proposed was video games and stress. I really like this one because we can look not only at the content of the video games, what kind of games you're playing, how long you're playing, but this idea of stress. Is this leading to stress because you are using video games as a way to procrastinate? If people are playing those games that have like a monthly renewal subscription, or that you're always supposed to be buying something new to be able to advance to the next thing, like is it causing budgetary stress? Is it causing stress because spending your free time that way is causing conflict with a romantic partner or a family member? So there would be a lot of really interesting directions to go with that. So those are your choices, and those are all also written down on the topic vote sheet. So please vote for your top 2, and then the top 5 are going to win. I will open up, so this is Monday, late afternoon-ish. We will leave voting open until Wednesday night or Thursday night. I'll think about that. And then we'll open up the actual voting later let's do Thursday night. We'll leave voting open until Thursday night, and then Friday morning, I will open up the actual group sign up, so you'll have Friday and all weekend to sign up. So, right, so there you go. I love what y'all came up with. I'm looking forward to this semester. This should be really interesting.